Hello and welcome to Dream Team Coach TV, brought to you by Betway. I'm Andy Taylor and joining me today is Nick Elliott, Jack Townsend, and we've got a very special guest. He's a former Arsenal, West Ham and England defender, Premier League and FA Cup winner, and someone who probably knows more about the offside rule than most modern day referees. It's Nigel Winterburn. Cheers for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Coming up on this week's show.
Trex, old school fullback.
Yeah. I'll show you how to mark a winger.
Yeah. I'll show you how to put him in the stand. Whoops, watch the camera. Ooh. It's so pathetic. We're grown men and we're having to hide the chocolate with people. I'll just tell the boss I couldn't find you. So it's just like,
It's good.
I'm sweating. I'm definitely going to call Arsene Wenger after this.
Right, first things first, Nigel, thanks for joining us again. What are your thoughts on this season so far?
Strange, very, very mixed. I think that's because of the quick turnaround as well. No supporters inside this stadium, so we are getting a few mixed results, which I think is making it quite exciting as well. And I think this season's going to be unpredictable.
Well, we had Richard Dunn on a few weeks ago, and it's good to always ask kind of former top-level defenders, what are your thoughts on the current defensive kind of situation in the Premier League? I mean, we've got, I think it was record goals at the moment. I mean, like, why is that happening?
It's different. I mean, the game now is completely different to when I played, if I'm honest. I think the best way to summarise it for me is a full-back. If I couldn't defend, I wouldn't get into a top team. And now it's all about real quality. Full-backs are used as almost an attacking option. It's all about quality on the ball. It almost seems to me as the second thought now seems to be, well, can that player defend? Pitches are a lot better. You know, I used to play on mud heaps.
I know it's hard to compare eras, but I mean, do you think that, say, yourself and pros that you played with, do you reckon you would have been able to adapt to the modern game, or is it just such a different element these days?
No, I think you will, because even through your period of playing, you have to adapt your game. You would just, I mean, with the training that we would have, the fitness that we'd have, the diets and the way the game's run, I just think, actually, I think it probably would have made me a better player.
Before I dig deeper into Arsenal and your career, I just want to open it out to just chat about VAR again. I mean, Jack, Villa again got done over, didn't they? I mean, what's your thoughts on VAR?
It was heartbreaking, wasn't it? Ollie Watkins, to redeem himself for that missed penalty, which equally got a VAR decision for Villa. I think there's got to be, I don't know what you think, but I feel like there needs to be a bit of daylight between the lines for it to be offside, just to give a bit more of an attacking advantage.
I agree, but I think VAR actually missed that there was actually a foul in the build-up to the goal. So Ollie Watkins was fouled because he was being pulled back before he actually got in front of the defender. Yeah. So if the goal is offside, then it's a penalty. And they didn't even review the penalty. My one big issue with VAR is if we're having to draw those lines to see whether someone's armpit is offside, then to me is that I think we're spoiling the game slightly.
I'm just impressed that VAR finds like new ways, like new farcical decisions. Like when Bamford was, the top of his arm was offside because he was pointing where he wanted the ball. I thought that was the most ridiculous. And now you've got Ogbonna pushing Watkins's arm over the line. You go, there you go, that's an offside. If I'm a defender, I'm thinking the ball come in. I'm going to give this guy's nudge so that his top of his elbow is just the other side of offside, and it's going to get disallowed. Like,
knowing what you know, this is the final one on VAR. What do you think the future is with VAR? What genuinely do you think will happen to it? Do you think it will just stay as it is, or do you think there will be an adaptation of some sort?
I think they'll keep tweaking. I think they'll keep looking for ways to improve it, that we can get to a point where we're not discussing it every single week and it's just acceptable. And I think that's the ultimate game, because I don't think we're going to go back to just relying on linesmen and referees. I think VAR is here to stay. And we've got to get to a level that's acceptable.
Keep your eyes peeled for this week's bonus video, where we preview the North London derby right here in the studio with Nigel Winterburn. Arsenal are currently second last in the Premier League form table, taking just 4 points from a possible 18 in the last 6 games. An Aubameyang goal is rarer than a correct VAR decision these days. After a win at Man United recently, things were looking positive for Arsenal. It's not gone as well since. Nigel, what are your thoughts on your old club?
Well, we're in a big transitional period. But I think I said that the same when Unai Emery was in charge. And I'm still saying it with Mikel Arteta. I think he will be a good manager for Arsenal given time. But I think we are now surprising people how far we are behind the very, very top teams. We've had a complete flip around where we couldn't keep or we couldn't stop the goals going in. Now we're stopping the goals going in. We now can't not only score, but we can't create any chances.
I think you said there about this being a transition sort of period. I think you're right, but I'm just wondering, like in the modern game, how much time do you get to transition? I mean, the people are so impatient, especially the fans. And for a club like Arsenal, with the history and the finances and stuff.
Do you know what? I really don't know because managers don't get very long. And if you look back, what was it, 2004 last time Arsenal won the league? So we've been in a transitional period. But along the way, we've won cups. I would suggest that he's going to get this season, and then you go into next season, and if things are not right, then it's really going to ramp up because the supporters will start to say, well, we're in the same position as we were when Unai Emery was in charge and Arsene Wenger's last period.
If you were in the board then, would you almost want to make it public, say, we're giving him this season to almost put him at ease and the squad at ease, or do you say, as you say, is that a bit strong?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because usually when you come out and get a vote of confidence, it means you've not got long left. So I wouldn't want the Arsenal board to come out and give Mikel Arteta a vote of confidence already. He's
not before the North London derby.
Not before the North London derby either. You're right there. So I'm not happy with the way we're performing, as Mikel Arteta and the team would not be, but I still think there has been some progress.
You were part of an era where it was a bit more old school. The old school kind of way of playing was dying out slightly, I suppose, towards the end of your career. And you were part of the new wave. Obviously, Arsene Wenger came in, the birth of the modern footballer, I suppose. But just firstly, what was it like being part of football when Arsene Wenger came in, and obviously he came to your club as well?
The change from when Arsene Wenger came was absolutely incredible. I think George Graham put the structure in. We played in a very disciplined, very structured, very organised team. And basically it was like Arsene Wenger came in and he just went, just go out and play. And it was like, are you serious here? It was like, go and enjoy yourselves. It was like going back to playing Sunday League football again. What he did is he kept the back four together because there was a lot of rumours that he'd been told to disband the back four, it was too old. And then I'd say that he dramatically improved the attacking areas, central midfield and the forward play. You look at the players that he brought in, it just gelled. I mean, it was just an incredible period to play. I've got to admit, I think the training was just so different. It was just so fresh from what we'd done before. And then you can add into all the other stuff that he brought in with drinking, dietary things. But I always say, you can't control your diet when you're at home. So read into that what you like.
It's true that he banned ketchup. Is that true?
He banned everything. I think he knew what was going on. But yeah, there was like to start with all the food. We were all supposed to, after training, we'd all eat upstairs in the restaurant. It was all like fish. It was chicken. It was all quite plain. But when we used to travel away, first of all, we used to travel away we used to use the train quite a lot, and we used to have our own carriage, and you used to see the guy or the lady coming through, and everyone was with the cakes and everything on, cup of tea, and you could see all the lads getting ready, and he just used to stand up and go, he just used to shake his finger and go, no, and the lads were like, and then all of a sudden it come through again, he'd say, you can have a cup of tea, no sugar, and it was like, what about chocolate and our Mars bars? No. So anyway, so what the lads started to suss was when we used to go to the station, we used to let him go first, walk down the platform, and then we used to stop at the top at the kiosk, and everybody used to load their bags up with all the chocolate. And then when we got on the train, it's like little kid stuff, this is. And then when we got on the train, So whatever way he was facing, all the players used to sit behind him, so that when we got our cup of tea, we could eat our chocolate. And then if he got up, everyone would just put their chocolate down on the seat next to him. I mean, it's so pathetic. We're grown men, and we're having to hide the chocolate with people. But he was like, you know, the dietary things that he brought in, the explanation that he gave you with the vitamins that you could have and take. Nothing was ever forced on you, but you just accepted that he was trying to improve you. He wasn't doing it to make you a worse player.
You painted a picture there, obviously, of the Wenger regime with the vitamins and the no sugar. Can you give us a little example, perhaps before that, of George Graham and the Tuesday Club and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I wasn't a fully fledged member. I didn't have the 5 stars for the Tuesday Club. I was probably once every 2 or 3 weeks, because in that period, what I'd already started to do is I used to work with a builder, believe it or not, and I used to go around the auctions, and I used to go and look at the properties. So some of the time, like I used to get loads of stick from the players, because they used to say to, "Oh, is your missus not letting you out?" or whatever. And it was just like, "All right, lads, yeah, all right." Just, you know, you just brush it off. Tuesday Club was pretty much that if we didn't have a game in the week, under George, we always trained at Highbury. We did a running session around the pitch, up the stands, then we went into the gym. We were finished by 12 o'clock, and then everyone would come out. We'd go straight into London, because we knew we were off the next day. To be fair, I mean, a lot of the guys went. It was probably 15, 16, 17 of us going out regular. We would all go, we'd go and have a meal, a few beers. People would go off, stay as long as they wanted. But some of the regulars sort of took it to the limits of staying till like 5 or 6 in the morning. So, I mean, you had that wide variety of what was happening, but
is a case of as long as you turn up to training on Thursday, you can do whatever you want?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. I think people started to write in and tell George what was going on, because on one occasion he sent Stuart Houston out to find the lads and see where they were, and he tracked. I hadn't gone on this appeal, and he tracked them down into a wine bar somewhere, and they could just see him peering in through the window. So they went and grabbed him and got him inside, and they bought him a pint of lager. And they just said, Stuart just said to him, "I'll just tell the boss I couldn't find you." So it's just like, you know, so there's a way of persuading everybody, you know.
Right, well, he can talk the talk, but can he walk the walk? Betway have set Nigel a 4-to-score football challenge. For every correct answer Nigel gets, we will add 2 seconds to his keepy-uppy time limit. And the goal is to get as many keepy-uppies as possible, so the more time the better. Right, Nigel, I need you to name as many players from the Arsenal 97-98 double winning side. Good names in here. There's a couple that I don't really know, to be fair.
If he doesn't know.
What chance have I got? You got the list.
There's about 6 lads in here that I've genuinely never heard
Just got to think of the excuses now.
Right. You're going to have 90 seconds to do so.
It's a long time, 90 seconds.
Okay, right.
Sorry to anybody I missed. There's going to be a few.
3, 2, 1, go.
Dave Seaman, Alex Meninga, Vince Bartram, John Lukic, Lee Dixon, Remy Gard, Tony Adams, Steve Bold, Nigel Winterburn, Martin Keown, Scott Marshall, Ray Parler, Lundberg, Vieira, Petit, Gramandi, Stephen Hughes, Gavin McGowan maybe, Paolo Venazza, Mark Overmars, Ian Wright, Nicholas Anelka, Christopher Ray. Oh, I'm struggling now. There's got to be some more. There's quite a few there.
You're doing well.
Good effort, but how many have you got left?
Short am I?
There's a big striker that you're missing.
Wright, Anelka, Christopher Ray,
couple of decent,
Burkamp.
Decent couple of midfielders as well.
Hold on. Petit, Vieira. Who else was there? Gramandi I've got. No, I'm gonna leave. I've blanked.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. Right, we're calling it there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, call it.
The ones that I don't have, just you were going pretty quick, so if I've missed it, apologies. Louis Bowen-Morte,
Yeah, Spur Morty, yeah.
Jason Crow,
Yeah, right back.
Alberto Mendes,
Yeah, German lad, yeah.
Jihad Muntasa,
Not when I was around. Was it a try list?
he's on the list.
He's on the list. Yeah, he's on the list.
I'm definitely going to call Arsene Wenger after this.
It's good effort.
Yeah,
Good
so
effort.
21, yeah,
Wow.
21. So what's that, 42 seconds?
42 seconds.
Solid innings.
Is that solid?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Bingo! When I used to do some stuff, when I finished, some people used to go do some work with the young kids, they used to say, show us some tricks. Tricks? I was old school fullback.
Yeah. I'll
How
show
about
you how to mark a winger.
Yeah. I'll show you how to put him in the stand, but I can't show you any tricks.
3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh. Whoops, watch the camera. Ooh. Start again.
Stop.
Have it.
I had 65. Yeah.
It's good.
I'm sweating.
Good effort. Very good.
The only thing I can say is a little bit slow motion. The
Nice.
feet don't,
The
the
fine
feet
ones
don't
caught you
move
up.
any quicker than that, I'm afraid, anymore.
All right, Nigel, 65 in the end. Nice work. Not as many as Richard Dunn, but what are your thoughts on that?
How old's Richard Dunn?
Younger than you.
Yeah, a lot younger. Yeah. So that tells you I'm very, very happy. I'm happy with that. I think I missed maybe 3 or 4 out of that squad.
I think the only
So-
big name maybe was Platt. I think the rest were kind of...
Yeah, David Platt. Well, I never liked him anyway. So. No, it's not true. I'm annoyed that I missed some of the guys, but listen, I can't even remember what happened yesterday. So to remember almost all of that squad from
Impressive, yeah.
98.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if I'm honest, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it's good effort.
Okay, that was Nigel's Forward to Score Challenge. If you would like to take part in the Betway Forward to Score Challenge, then all you've got to do is predict the first 4 goal scorers in Betway's designated fixtures this weekend. Get it right, and you could win £50,000. I'm just looking at some of the absolute world-class players that you played with. So, I mean, you've got Henry, Bergkamp, Vieira, Wright, there's loads more. Is there any one of those that stand out when someone asks you about kind of, who's the one player that you couldn't stop talking about when you watched him in training and games and stuff?
I always talk about Bergkamp.
Really?
In my period. And people say to me, what about Henry? But I only did a year with Thierry. And I think Thierry from 2000, 2006 was just unplayable. But that was after my period at the club. So I know when I talk to a lot of people, from watching and playing, Bergkamp would be, but if I had to watch someone and say, I wish I would stayed a bit longer to play with him, it would have been Henry. And I put Bergkamp and Henry down as 2 of what I'd class as my all-time great players. Not only in the period that I played, but I think at the club.
What was it about Bergkamp? Just everything?
Oh, just his aura, his calmness about him, but just the way he conducted himself on the pitch, the goals that he scored, but his appreciation of teammates around him, and let me tell you, slightly more ruthless than what you thought at times, as certain players find out through the career. If you riled him, he'd let you know about it. Yeah.
Looking deeper into your career, what would you say is your biggest achievement or your proudest moment in your career, if you had to say?
Wow, I don't know whether I could just pick out one, if I'm completely honest with you, but I suppose my first league title, 89 at Anfield, would be the one for me, because we should have won the league 2 or 3 games before. It looked like we'd blown it. I remember sitting down listening to Liverpool play West Ham in the game before we played them, and I had to switch it off at the end because the realisation that not only were we having to go there and win, but all of a sudden it got to 2 goals, and I'm thinking I've got to switch this off because if they score again, it goes to 3. It's just impossible, you know, to even go to Anfield at that period of time. People say, "Oh, you know, you've got to win is hard enough, but to win by 2 clear goals," and I suppose because of how dramatic it was, with that, you know, with just that, it was basically injury time goal, wasn't it? It was just such an unbelievable way to finish a league season, and I've said it all the time, I don't think it'll ever be better.
There'll be a lot of younger fans watching this who don't realise that was like the Aguero QPR before that happened. You know, that was the first time that it went down to...
Yeah, obviously I'm talking sort of pre-Premier League,
yeah.
So, you know, some of the time football didn't exist, did it?
Just a final bit on your career, so I'm just going to move on to West Ham. So you were part of an era where there was a lot of interesting youth talent coming through. So the likes of Lamps, Defoe, Carrick, Joe Cole. I mean, do any of those boys stick out to you as when you watched them coming through, you were like, he's going to make it, he's going to be superb? Was it just all of them? You know?
Well, I think they were, to be fair, they were already in coming in through and into the team when I joined. That was for sure. I mean, even you know, Glenn Johnson came through and very quickly was gone. I mean, I think the one player that I always look at and I think is Joe Cole.
Really?
Absolutely unbelievable ability. You're thinking, God, I think this guy could really go on and play at a top team. He's just so comfortable on the ball. But yeah, he was certainly one player that I looked at and thought, you know, I wouldn't have been minded 10 years younger and having him in my team, that's for sure.
Okay, that's all from us, folks. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of Dream Team Coach TV, brought to you by Betway. Thanks again to Nick and Jack, but special thanks to Nigel Winterburn. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Good luck with your dream teams this week, and I'll see you all again next week.